All right, let's dive in and unlock some of the trickiest parts of English grammar. We're going to cover 5 powerful keys that will make a huge difference. You know, if you've ever felt like there are secret rules that everyone else seems to get, well, you're definitely in the right place.
I mean, seriously, does it ever feel like that? Like it's some kind of secret code? Well, you're not alone. But what if I told you it's not really about secrets? It's just about having the right keys for the right locks. Today, we're going to build your master set. So instead of thinking of grammar as this boring, old rulebook you have to memorize, let's try a different approach. Think of it as a toolkit. Every single rule we talk about today is a specific tool that's going to help you build clearer, stronger, and more impactful sentences. By the time we're done here, your toolkit is going to be completely stocked. So here's the game plan. First, we're cracking the code on time itself with tenses. Then, we'll jump into the what-if worlds of conditionals. After that, we'll grab some precision verbs, untangle some of those really tricky connecting words, and finally, we'll master the art of shifting focus using the passive voice. Sound good? Let's get started. Okay, first up, part 1, cracking the tense code. Tenses are basically the tools that let us travel through time in our sentences. They tell everyone listening exactly when something went down. So, the present perfect tense, it's all about connecting something from the past to the now. It's for actions that just wrapped up but still feel kind of relevant. And here's a tip. Words like just, already, and recently are like big flashing signs telling you to use this tense.
And here's a perfect example. See that word recently? It connects the action, visiting Dhaka, directly to the present moment. That's the present perfect doing its job perfectly.
Now let's compare that to the past indefinite. This one's totally different. It's for actions that are completely 100% finished. They happened at a very specific point in the past, and they are over. Think of words like yesterday, ago, or last night as little timestamps that plant a flag firmly in the past. See the difference? Yesterday just locks it in. The action is done, it's sealed off in the past. Getting this difference down is a huge step. Okay, let's shift gears from time to possibility. Welcome to part 2, the worlds of what if. Oh man, conditionals are fantastic tools. They're what we use to talk about all kinds of possibilities, from things that are super likely to happen, all the way to things that are completely impossible. This chart right here, this is your cheat sheet for the 3 main conditionals. Just notice how the whole structure changes as we go from real possibilities in the first to, unlikely dreams in the second, and finally to impossible regrets with the third. Let's compare the first two. If you run fast, you will win. That feels real, right? Like an actual possible outcome. But then you get, if I had money, I would buy a car. That's more of a hypothetical dream, isn't it? That little shift in the verb tense is what signals we've moved away from reality.
Now, check out the jump from the second to the third conditional. We go from an unlikely dream in the present to an impossible regret about the past. If he had studied, well, the reality is he didn't, and we can't go back and change it. That would-have passed part, that's like the ghost of a possibility that's now gone forever.
On to part 3, the precision verb kit. So, if tenses are your hammer and conditionals are your screwdriver, think of these as your fine-tuning instruments. They help you add nuance and get things just right in some very specific but very common situations. Okay, these next 2 rules are your absolute best friends because they are simple and they never change. Rule number 1, after a modal verb, like can or should, you always use the simple base form of the verb, the V1. Rule number 2, after have, has, or had, you always use the past participle, or V3. That's the one that often ends in ed or en, like spoken or finished. Just burn these 2 into your brain.
Now, the little word to can be a bit of a troublemaker, but here's a super simple test. Most of the time, it's followed by a simple verb, like I want to go. But if to is part of a bigger set phrase, like look forward to, object to, or be used to, then you've got to use the verb plus ing. So you'd say, I look forward to meeting you. All you have to do is ask yourself, is this to part of a special phrase?
All right, let's move on to part 4, tricky connecting words. These are really the nuts and bolts of your toolkit. They're the connectors that let you build longer, more interesting, and grammatically correct sentences.
The word since is a really powerful connector, but it has a pattern you need to follow. Check out how the tenses sort of dance together here. If the first part of the sentence is in the present tense,
the part after tense drops back to the simple past. But if the first part is already in the past, the second part has to go one step even further back into the past perfect. It's a neat little system.
Okay, this one's a great one. It's a simple rule that will instantly make you sound more fluent. Whenever you use the phrase, "it is time" or "it is high time," the verb that comes next must be in the past tense. I know it sounds weird because you're talking about the present or future, but that's the rule.
And here's a perfect example of it. We're not saying we changed them way back when, we're saying we should change them right now. It's this special structure that just adds this great sense of urgency, a really useful tool to have in your kit.
And for our final section, Part 5, Speaking versus Being Spoken. This is all about the passive voice. And let me tell you, this isn't just about changing focus, it's about being strategic. It's the perfect tool for when the action is the star of the show, or when you want to sound more objective, or maybe even downplay who is responsible.
This comparison just lays it all out. In the active voice, the subject, he, is the hero, right? He's the one doing the action. But in the passive voice, the spotlight moves. The letter becomes the subject, and it's just receiving the action. This is exactly why scientists say things like, the sample was heated. It sounds way more objective than saying, I heated the sample. The focus is on the science, not the scientist.
And you want to know the best part? There's a dead simple formula for it. You just take the correct form of the verb to be, so is, are, was, whatever you need, and then you add the past participle of the main verb. That's that V3 form we keep talking about. And that's it. That's the whole secret to building the passive voice. So there you have it, 5 absolutely essential sets of tools for your grammar toolkit. We've gone through tenses, conditionals, those precision verbs, connectors, and the passive voice. So the real question now isn't about knowing the rules, it's about actually using them. So which tool are you most excited to try out